When was the last time life felt genuinely easy? Not manufactured easy, not the kind where you keep telling yourself it is fine when something in you knows it is not, but actually naturally, effortlessly easy? For many people right now, the honest answer is that it has been a while. Maybe months, maybe longer. And somewhere inside that extended stretch of difficulty, a quiet question has started forming. A dangerous one, not because it is wrong to ask, but because of what most people do with it. The question sounds something like, is this just how it is now? When we ask that question in the middle of a hard season, we almost immediately start building a case for yes. We start collecting evidence that the difficulty is permanent, that this is the new baseline, that whatever version of life existed before the struggle is simply gone. And that story, quiet, convincing, internally consistent, is exactly what extends the hard season beyond what it was ever meant to be. So let me offer a different framework for what is actually happening, because I think it is almost certainly not what it looks like from inside it. Most of us have absorbed, through direct instruction or simply by watching how the world works, the belief that struggle means something went wrong, that if you were really on the right path, things would flow more naturally, that difficulty is evidence of error. And so when life gets hard, the first move is almost always to look for the mistake. What did I miss? What did I fail to see? What decision led me here? That impulse feels responsible. It feels like ownership, but it contains a fundamental misreading of what hard seasons actually are. Because struggle is not reliably a signal that you are off course. Most of the time, struggle is a signal that you are right in the middle of the most significant transition you have been through. And transitions are supposed to feel like something is ending, because something is. That is how they work. The old thing has to dissolve before the new thing can form. The space between the two is genuinely uncomfortable. It is supposed to be. That does not mean you are failing. 3 specific things happen during a hard season that most people misread entirely. Understanding what they actually are changes everything about how you move through them. The first is that everything that was not working gets exposed. When life is moving along without major disruption, we rarely examine whether what we are doing is actually aligned with what we want. We keep going because things are working well enough. And well enough has a remarkable ability to keep us exactly where we are indefinitely. Then something shifts. A relationship cracks. A career that felt acceptable suddenly feels hollow. A plan falls apart, and the immediate experience is often one of panic. Why is everything falling apart? But what is actually happening is not collapse. It is clarification. The hard season removes what was never going to take you where you actually want to go. The comfortable but wrong. The familiar but unfulfilling. The safe but quietly suffocating. That process is painful and disorienting and genuinely feels like loss, because in some ways it is. But here is the part that rarely gets said. You cannot receive what is genuinely meant for you while your hands are still full of what was not. The clearing is the prerequisite. The space it creates, uncomfortable as it is where everything new actually has room to form. So if you are in a season right now where things that used to work are no longer working, where plans are falling through, where the ground under you feels less solid than it did, consider that this might not be punishment. It might be preparation. The more useful question in that territory is not why is this happening to me, but what is this making room for? The second thing that happens in a hard season is that you discover something about yourself that could not have been discovered any other way. Most of us carry through life a version of ourselves that was built in relatively comfortable conditions. The version that shows up when things are going well, when support is available, when the path is reasonably clear. That version is real, but it is not the complete picture. The complete picture only becomes visible under genuine pressure. What I have seen happen consistently in people who move through something genuinely hard, who face something they did not think they could face and come through it, is that they are not the same person on the other side. Not because they hardened or shut down, but because they found something inside themselves that was not previously visible. a kind of quiet internal confidence that does not need external validation because it was built through experience rather than received through circumstance. You cannot purchase that. You cannot think your way to it. It can only be developed by going through something that tested you and choosing, day after day, not to be finished by it. If you are in the middle of something right now that is asking more of you than you feel equipped to give, you are not being broken down. You are being introduced to a version of yourself that is more capable and more grounded than the one who existed before this season began. If this is landing for you, there is a link in the description where you can support this project. What is given toward it freely from genuine resonance, not obligation, is what makes it possible to keep reaching people in exactly these moments. That door is there whenever it calls to you. The third thing that happens in a hard season, and perhaps the most significant, is that your desires get refined. Before real difficulty arrives, most people have a general sense of what they want: more security, better relationships, more freedom, more meaning. Those wants are real, but they are also vague. They exist in a comfortable, theoretical version of life where everything is basically fine. Then life gets hard, and something sharpens. The vague wants start becoming specific. Because when you are in genuine struggle, you become clear, often for the first time, about what you actually care about versus what you thought you were supposed to care about. What you are willing to genuinely build your life around versus what you were pursuing because it seemed like the right thing to pursue. That clarity, born from real experience rather than comfortable theorizing, is one of the most valuable things a person can possess. Because clarity is generative. When you know with precision what you actually want, you are able to move toward it in a way that diffuse wishing never could. The hard season burns away everything that was noise. What remains is only what is real. Here is what I want to say directly about what comes after this, and I mean it as something true rather than as comfort. What is on the other side of this season is going to surprise you. Not because life becomes magically simple, not because everything resolves overnight, but because of who you are becoming inside the difficulty, because of what is being cleared to make room, because of the precision of desire that is being forged in you right now, whether you can feel it happening or not. The version of your life that exists on the other side of this hard season is not the same one that existed before it started. It is more aligned. It is built on a foundation that only this specific kind of difficulty could have laid. I know how hard it is to hold on to that while you are inside it. How exhausting it is to trust a process whose outcome you cannot see. How disorienting it feels when the people around you seem to be moving while you feel stationary. What I want to tell you is that stationary is not what is happening. Movement is occurring. It is just occurring below the surface in you, where the most important movement always happens first. The link in the pinned comment is there for anyone who feels moved to support this work. Freely, only when it genuinely resonates. That is the only spirit in which it was ever offered. Most people try to force their way out of a hard season. They push against it, control against it, think their way out of it, and the harder they push, the longer it tends to last. Because the hard season is not an obstacle between you and the life you want. It is part of the construction of that life. You cannot learn the lesson by refusing to be in the classroom. What actually works is moving through it with intention, asking different questions. Not why is this happening to me, but what is this showing me? What is it clearing? What is it preparing me to receive? Because when you shift from resistance to genuine curiosity about what the season is doing, something changes. Not necessarily in the difficulty level, but in the quality of the experience. Purposeless hard breaks people. Purposeful hard builds them. 3 questions worth sitting with honestly. What has this season already shown me about myself that I genuinely did not know before? What has this season removed from my life that, if I am being fully honest, was never going to take me where I actually wanted to go? If this season is preparing me for something, what is the most remarkable version of what that something could be? Where you focus, you move. If you can orient yourself toward the possibility of what is coming rather than the weight of what you are currently carrying, if you can hold even a small and honest belief that what is on the other side of this is worth going through this for, You will move through it more quickly, come out more capable, and eventually look back on this moment understanding exactly why it had to happen the way it did. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are in the middle of a season that is doing something in you that cannot be done any other way. And what comes after it, the clarity, the version of yourself, the life being made possible by everything happening right now, is going to be more than you were expecting. Hold on. Keep going. The hard season is not the end of your story. It is the part that makes everything else possible.